Sup nerds, today I'm going to go over my LordKnightmon deck profile that I used in the Top Cut Event Ultimate Cup from this past Saturday. I was actually in a feature match in round 3 on the Eggman's stream on Twitch. The VOD is available for subs to him on Twitch if you guys want to check that out. But let's get into it. Alright, starting off with our Tama, we are running 4 Upamon. This is LordKnightmon. And the way I have always run LordKnightmon, you never use your 5th Tama. It's pretty rare for you even use your 4th Tama. Like I've used my 4th Tama against like pure Setcon and stuff like that. But even now, like I don't even use the 5th Tama versus Setcon anymore. So its effect is when attacking, once per turn, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger draw 1. We always want to replenish our hand because we end up running out of cards from our hand a lot in this deck. Because we end up playing all of our bodies and like just a lot of them don't replace themselves in the hand. You guys can play Coramon or Pitomon, but I would prefer the hand replenish and the ability to dig when needed over the neg 1000 DP that you might get occasionally. On to our first rookie, we are running 4 Pulsemons. His effect is, on play, if you have 3 or more security cards, trigger draw 1. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger gain 1 memory. If you have exactly 3, do both. Pretty nice, pretty solid rookie. The gain 1 memory is cool because it turns him into a 2-drop basically, but also if you play him for free off LordKnightmon, he gains you a memory, which is pretty sick. And then he's just a 3-drop 2k vanilla beater once he hits the field. We are playing Mastemon in this list once again, so he is very important. As an option to bring back with Masty, so you don't pass a turn if you start your turn at 3, because Masty is a 4 to Digivolve, and you go into her, bring him back from trash, and he gains your memory to go back to 0. Very important to play for him in the Masty build. And on to, I would say, the second best rookie in the deck, 4 Starmons. Pretty broken. 3 play cost, 1000 DP. On play, for each Digimon you have in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. So just by himself, that's neg 1k, but if you have other bodies, it stacks up pretty quickly. Also, if you have multiple in your hands, you can drop 1 to go to 0 memory if you started at 3, neg 1 to 2k, and then neg 2 to 3k more on something to like kill something that's kind of bigger. And that's only if you start with like 1 body or 1 body to push out from your raising area. It gets pretty wild if your opponent doesn't answer your board that you're starting to build, and you can start like just nuking stuff. And onto a card that a lot of people don't like in this list, but I will explain why I do. So coramon, 3 play cost, 2000 DP rookie. The effect is on play, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 2 yellow Digimon cards with Warrior and or Holy Warrior and their types among them to your hand. Place remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order, blah blah blah. So this lets us search for Knightmon and LordKnightmon. But I've always played Gladiamon in my LordKnightmon list, and he also searches for Gladiamon. And so I normally have at least 12 targets in my deck for him. And also, your boss monster is LordKnightmon, so you always want to be able to get to him as quickly as possible, and this guy helps you do that. If you already have the pieces you need in your hand, you just put him on top of your Tama and just don't activate his on play, but it's not even a bad thing. Like, I don't care about bot decking other stuff if I'm getting to my LordKnightmon and my Knightmon pieces. Gladiamon's just a bonus, but we want LordKnightmon and Knightmon at ASAP Ferg, so that's why I always play him. And onto our situational rookies. We have 2 Bushiagumon, 5 play cost, 3000 DP rookie that has Rush. You play him for free off LordKnightmon, swing for game. Play him for free off Masty, swing for game. Also, Blinding Ray, if you start your turn at 3, drop him, swing for game. That's why he's in here. We're only playing 2 because we're not playing Angelomon once again that plays him for free. So like he's only being played for free off LordKnightmon or Masty. Or you're just Blinding Ray and then dropping him hard from your hand. So like, because we have Masty to recycle him if he ends up in your trash, I do not feel the need to play more than 2 of this card, but very strong. And then we have our recovery. This is the promo Pitomon, 4 play cost, 2000 DP on play. If you have 1 or fewer security cards, trigger recovery +1. So the reason why I don't want to play more of this is because you have to have exactly 1 or less security in order to recover off him. And that really sucks because that's not usually the case. Usually have more than that. But because we're playing Mastemon, I'm okay with running this as a 1-of because if you see it early, you just Digivolve on top of your Tama, and then you just bring it out of the trash if that stack dies later from your Masty, and then usually that'll probably net your recovery. And it just being a vanilla rookie otherwise is fine. I accept it. Then on to our other recovery, the one of Lucimon. The 13 play cost, 10,000 DP, level 3. Then while you have 10 or more cards in your trash, reduce the play cost by 8, so he turns into 5 drop from hand. And then his effect is on play, recovery +1, non-situational recovery, pretty nice. And then all turns, can only Digivolve into Digimon with Lucimon in the name. So you can't Digivolve your level 4s on top of this guy, which is the only reason you wouldn't want to like max this card out, because otherwise that would be like really busted. I'm only playing one of this because once again you can recycle it off Masty, and I never want to play more than one of this because when these start clogging your hands it really sucks, because early game this card is actually worthless because you're not going to have 10 cards in your trash and you're not going to have a LordKnightmon built up, and it's just a 13 hard drop in your hand that you just like literally can't even do anything with. You can't put it on the top of your tama, you can't do anything with, unless you just want to set your opponent to 10 and just recover 1. And that is it for our rookies. We're actually playing 16 rookies. Onto our level 4s, we are playing 4 Pitomon. The 1 to Digivolve, 6 hard play, 5,000 DP blocker. Then when attacking, lose to memory. So blockers do suck this format, more so than probably any format that I can think of in the past. This is probably the worst format for them, because most blockers have 6,000 or less DP. And Pitomon bot decks 6k or less when it DNAs. So like having a blocker that's 6k or under just doesn't exist to Pitomon. But it's good against other things, like other decks that you might have an issue with. And then it can also just keep you from dying once an Digimon player has gone off already. If they don't have access to fighter mode, or are able to go into like another DNA Digivolve, like they can't just swing for game if you put one of these guys out. That's the reason why I'm playing him over Terurimon, the bunny that's one to Digivolve. But I am playing him because he's a one to Digivolve. Like, it was either going to be him or Bunny, and I decided that having a blocker is definitely just going to be better generically than a 6k champion that also gets bot deck that I'm probably not going to be swinging with against most decks. And then on to the greatest champion ever printed in Digimon, Apemon, Ape Together Strong. 6 hard play, 2 to Digivolve, 8,000 DP, vanilla, no effect, doesn't need one, 8k DP on a champion, is still ignorant. Still real dumb. Pitomon cannot run this over. Dinobemon cannot run this over. They can only crash with it unless they have exactly like certain cards that give them DP bumps, which that's not their ideal stack anyway. So like they don't even want those DP bumps in that situation if they even play those cards that give them the DP to do that. So he can swing pretty safely against a lot of decks. He's only dying to specific level 5s and pretty much no champions that I can think of besides himself. This guy's real dumb, real strong. Glad he got a holo. Thank you, Bandai, for giving us a holo of this really, really broken common that could not come holo otherwise. But yeah, nothing else to say. Ape Together Strong, Unga Bunga. And then on to our last champion. I did say I was running Gladiamon. We're running full playset. So he is 4 to play, which is really nice, because you have a TK out, you can choke your opponent to 1 by hard playing him. 4,000 DP does suck, but he's essentially, functionally in this deck, he's a rookie that has the ability to Digivolve on top of a level 3, so the 4k DP is not really a big deal. He does Digivolve on top for 2 on top of a 3, because he's a champion. Then his on-play effect is the reason why we play him. You may search your security stack for Digimon with Warrior or Holy Warrior in its type and add it to your hand. If you do, recovery +1, then shuffle your security stack. So this guy searches himself, Knightmon, and LordKnightmon out of your security stack, which is really cool because you only play so many TKs, and if you see a bunch of LordKnightmons in there, you don't see your TKs, he does fish out all your pieces from your security. Very useful. Also, he gets played for free off of LordKnightmon. He's the only champion in existence currently, in English or Japanese, that can be played for free off LordKnightmon. Which is definitely relevant. You want to be able to play level 4s and level 5s if you can, if they're free. If it's free, it's for me, I'll take 3. But that is it for our champions. We are running 12. And on to our level 5s. Hey, you guys guessed it. We are running full playset of Knightmon. So he's a 7 play cost, 7,000 DP, 3 to Digivolve, level 5. His on-play effect is one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. Why are we running him? Because he's a warrior and he's yellow. He gets played for free off LordKnightmon. You get to play an ultimate for free, for literally free. No drawbacks, no nothing. He gets a dope on-play effect. Need I say more? You do end up hard playing this guy against certain decks in certain game states because his on play is just so good. If you don't have the ability to play him for free. I would say specifically for this meta, when they Mastemon hard plays Gatomon to give you 5 memory, like on turn 0, you hard play this guy, give him 2 back, kill the Gato. Now they don't have their Mastemon play. Try again. If you give me 3 memory, I'm going to go into a Mega and start going to town on you. Very strong, all at level 5. I would never play less than 4 in LordKnightmon. On to our other level 5s. We are running 5 Big Bunny, and Tilamon is a 7-drop 8k DP vanilla level 5 that digivolves for 2, and that's why we're playing him, because digivolving for 2 is really cool because it means if I have a champion in my raising area and I start my turn with 3 memory, I can Blinding Ray, go to 5, digivolve into a level 5, and then digivolve into LordKnightmon and start swinging. That's literally the reason why I'm playing it. Also, if you have a pitomon in your hand and you start your turn at 3 memory and you have a rookie already, or even if you just hatch, you can go start your turn at 3, hatch, digivolve into rookie for free, digivolve into Pito for 1, digivolve into Intila for 2, go to 0, and then digivolve into LordKnightmon, give your opponent 3 memory. You have LordKnightmon ready to go to town on the next turn. That's why I'm playing him. Him being 8k is also pretty cool because same thing with 8mon. He can't be like swung over. They have to crash if Imperial wants to get rid of him. And he's bigger than most level 5s in the meta. And we are also playing 2 more vanilla level 5s that digivolve for 2. We're playing Starmon. 6 hard play, 7,000 DP. But we were playing him because he's a 2 to digivolve, and we like that situation where we can either Blinding Ray or go from rookie all the way up to Mega and pass a turn. I am not playing Meteor Shower in this list, so that's why this isn't maxed out. If I was playing Meteor Shower, I'd max this out and then play like 1 or 2 of these guys. So it'd just be an inverse ratio. But we did not have room for Meteor Shower. Also, that card isn't as awesome when there's like infinite removal in the format, because playing Starmon for free, if your opponent like checks a Meteor Shower, isn't the best, because they can probably do something about it being on the field on their turn before they pass turn. And then playing a Starmons for free if they check a Meteor Shower probably isn't going to do anything against boards you actually care about. It's just kind of win more most of the time. I don't think it's never going to be a good card again. We actually are getting more Starmons in the next set, so I think Meteor Shower might see some play in some strange decks. But I think just in this format just is not the right call. So that's just why I'm maxing out the 8k DP. That is it for Ultimates. We are playing 10 Ultimates. Sounds like a lot, but I did not want to brick on any level, so I'm playing 15 that can Digivolve rookies, 12 champions, and 10 Ultimates. And on to our Megas. You guys probably guessed, I'm running a full playset of LordKnightmon. 13 play cost, 11,000 DP, Digivolves for 3. The effect is, when attacking, you may play a yellow level 3 Digimon card or a yellow Digimon card with Warrior and its type from your hand without paying its memory cost. That is broken. It's also not once per turn, so if you can restand this, which there are a couple of things you could play. Spoilers, we're not playing any of those, but there are a couple of cards that you can play that restand this to get that effect again. I don't think this card's ever going to completely go away because of how broken the effect is and the fact that it's not once per turn. But the other effect is all turns. All turns. Some people don't know that because they weren't alive, or they weren't playing Digimon in BT5 meta that we had for about 3 months in English, which everyone that was in BT5 format is very familiar with how this card works. But all turns, for each other Digimon you haven't played, this Digimon gets 1,000 extra DP. The fact that it's all turns is really, really stupid. Both effects are just so good. Like, it's so wild how LordKnightmon has fallen completely out of favor from the basically tier 0.5-ish realm that it was in BT5. It's just funny to me because it's not even on tier list videos that I see. Like, people like do tier list videos for like this EX2 format, BT9 format, and they don't even mention LordKnightmon. But they mention like troll decks and like just jank decks, but they like literally don't even mention this card. The disrespect, man. Remember who ran a 3-month-long format? It was this guy or girl, them. But yeah, the when attacking effect, obviously you can play all your rookies for free. But you can also play Gladiamon, which is a warrior, and Knightmon. This is the one you usually want to play if you have it, unless you're saving it for something, because it lets you just start pooping out megas on top of it, and you just start spamming level 6s and your opponent just can't deal with your board. But very broken effect. I do think this deck will shine once again, and I think people will start hating it. Right now it's like a rogue choice, so people are like, oh, really cool, I want to see LordKnightmon. But don't forget, guys, less than a year ago, this deck was so overbearing and so unbeatable that people just got sick. Like, this deck ran the longest format we've ever had in Digimon. It was a 3-month long format, and this was by far the best deck. But yeah, LordKnightmon's still really broken. Stop sleeping on this card, tier list makers. This is still really broken. At least mention it in the rogue section if you want to do that. But this is still playable in BT9. You guys will probably see 1 to 2 LordKnightmon lists from me in BT9. I've been working on them for quite a while, ever since I saw a couple of cards whenever BT9 came out in Japan. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. This card is still broken. On to our secondary Mega. That's right, we're playing another one. Mastemon, 12 play cost, 12,000 DP, 4 to Digivolve. The effect is, when Digivolving, trash 1 card from the top of both players' security stacks and play 1 purple or yellow Digimon card with a level 4 or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. So that lets you play all of your champions back, so you can play your pitomon blocker, your gladiamon to search your security, your 8mon if you just want to have a huge beater, and then obviously all your rookies, so your starmons, your bushis, your pulsemons, your coramons, whatever. She's a kill card, that's why she's played. I play her, I usually save her, unless I'm like forced to go into her just to have a Mega on the field. I save her until I can kill my opponent. If any of you guys actually watched the feature match from the Ultimate Cup in round 3, where I played against an Imperial player, game 1, the Eggman and Digipanda questioned why I didn't swing with my ultimate that I had standing at the end of my turn when she had 1 security left. And the reason why I did not is because I knew if I guaranteed myself 3 memory to start my turn, I had her in my hand, and I had a Pulsemon in my trash, and I could Digivolve into her on top of my ultimate, trash her last security card, bring back my Pulsemon, keep it my turn, and then swing for a game with her. If I had had a Bushi and or a Blinding Ray in my hand, I probably just would have swung and hoped I dug into the other piece and I needed to kill her. But I didn't have either one in my hand, so like I would have had to draw exactly, like I would have had to draw a Bushi for turn or Blinding Ray, and then Digivolve into my rookie, and then draw that also for turn. But yeah, she's a kill card. People usually don't expect her to come out unless they obviously have seen her get checked in security or something. Security control is still a deck this format, like the pure purple-yellow security control, and I actually played one of those in the Ultimate Cup, and I 2-0'd them pretty easily. They were even playing shorts. They were probably playing like 3 at least, I think. And she's what like evens out that matchup now that they have like board wipes that they have access to. Because game 1, I believe, game 1, he activated a reinforcing memory boost to put a Schwartz on top of his security, and I was about to be able to go, like I had an ultimate in my Raising Air that I was going to push up and like go into something on my next turn. He thought like if I do Lord Knight, like whatever I play is going to die to the check, which, you know, it's whatever. But what I did instead was I pushed up and Digivolved into Masty to trash it, and just LOL'd at him. But yeah, she's really strong. That's it for our Megas. We are running 6. That may sound a little low compared to like our other ratios, but don't forget your Cotamons search for your LordKnightmons, and your Gladiamon search for LordKnightmons out of your security. So we usually get to our LordKnightmon pretty easily and quickly, if we didn't like just open with it, which does happen quite a bit, because you also have 3 of the best tamers in the game. Memory setting TK, 4 play cost. Memory setter sets you to 3 at the beginning of your turn, and then his effect is on play. Look at your security stack, reveal a card, add it to your hand. If it's yellow, recover +1. She's the only non-yellow card, so everything else that you pull out of security, you recover. It is kind of sad when I TK and I see like 1 to 2 of her in my security, because I'm like, dang, that's like 1 less kill card I have. But I will never fish her out unless I absolutely have to, or it's like I know that it's game. I think he's probably the best memory setter in the game. I think Davis is definitely up there now that you have access to a bunch of blue-green cards. But I still think knowing what's in your security is such useful, powerful information that it still keeps him from being dethroned as the best memory setter, just generically speaking. And then onto our options. We are only playing 3 options if you guys are keeping count of the deck. Anyone that watched the feature match from the Ultimate Cup on Saturday can already guess what this is because you saw me activate them. We are running 3 Blinding Rays, 0 play cost, no security effects sadly, but it had to balance it some way, I guess, whatever. The effect is trash the top card of your security stack and then gain 2 memory. So for those of you that don't know, that haven't really seen this card played, because usually yellow hybrid and like yellow decks that have been meta relevant for the past couple of formats don't play this card. Trashing the top card of your security stack's not a cost. It's part of the effect. So you can activate this with 0 security and still get 2 memory for free. So why am I playing 3 of this and none of any removal options? The reason why I am is because I wanted to be able to kill people. So like Blinding Ray Bushi's game, Blinding Ray Masty into Bushi's game, all that stuff. And also I wanted to be able to turbo into my LordKnightmon stack whenever I needed to. And you need Blinding Ray in that situation if you start your turn at 3. So that was the theory behind this. So I ended up not wanting, I didn't realize I wanted to run LordKnightmon for the Ultimate Cup on Saturday until like, I don't know, I think like that Thursday, if I remember correctly, that Wednesday or that Thursday. So I had literally 0 playtesting with this deck. It was all built on theory based on the format. And I will say I would change this deck slightly because my Imperial matchup was a lot weaker. Like I knew it was definitely my worst matchup out of everything, because I really honestly felt like Blue Hybrid was kind of free as long as you could start swarming before they had a chance to build up their tamers, which is usually the case. I mean, most hybrid decks are relatively slow, just based on just how they function. And yellow hybrid, if I saw it, was probably like, would have been like kind of challenging, but it would have been hard for them to repeatedly deal with my board because they're only like, quote, board wipe option was their Rapidmon, and you only have 4 of those. Like their best option was probably to try to deck me out, but it would have been hard to continuously keep me from just pressuring their security every turn. Yellow purple Setcon I wasn't worried about, even though they have access to Schwartz, which is a board wipe. It's still really easy to navigate that if you know how to play against security control with a deck that has the ability to swarm. One-stack decks definitely have an issue with that deck, but decks that start swarming and don't really care about their one-stack if it dies, as long as they're getting value out of it, like your LordKnightmon swinging and playing a body, definitely don't really have much of an issue. Let's see, green hybrid I didn't really care about. I'm not saying that deck's bad, but I knew that it was barely going to have any representation, and also I wasn't super concerned about it. Their guys do get really big, but if I have a chance to set up, I can nuke their board while also having a LordKnightmon that's probably too big for them to swing over with their Ancient or whatever it is. So I wasn't super concerned about that matchup. Oh yeah, Mastemon was the other matchup. It was Imperial, and then Mastemon was second worst matchup, but Mastemon's not even a bad matchup. It's really just about their top end is a lot more powerful than mine. So like when Mastemon pops off, it can completely destroy my board. And if I don't answer their board immediately, I basically just lose. Like it's pretty much impossible for me to stabilize versus that deck if they pop off on me, unless I have like specifically a LordKnightmon in my raising area ready to go with like the right cards in my hand to follow it up with. But everything else felt fine. Any hybrid deck I wasn't concerned about, and anything other than Blue Imperial I felt like was at least a 50-50, if not in my favor, depending on the deck. But I will go over the changes I would make now that I have played in an 8-round tournament and saw what all the matchups were like. Alright, changes to the rookie lineup. I would actually cut 2 coramon. Not because I didn't like seeing it, it has nothing to do with that. I still love this card and I would play it at 4 if I had the room. I needed something to kind of even the playing field and keep Mastemon from being able to just answer my board with 1 memory. Because like if they have a Godamon on the field that I can't out, or if they have a Godamon like being able to push up from raising, even if I set them to 1 memory, they can still Mastemon me. And it doesn't matter if they give me 6 or 7 memory, if they have the right cards in their trash or security or in their hand They can just like pop most of my board, if not all of it. So I would cut 2 coramon because I would say it's the easiest to cut rookie because of the other ones and how valuable they are. For 2 cutemon, 3 play cost, 3000 DP, pretty good for a rookie. And then opponent's turn, your opponent can't reduce Digivolution cost. So this would keep their gladiamon from being able to Digivolve for 1 into their level 5. And it would also actually help the hybrid matchups, which, as I said, like they're not an issue for this deck really. But it would just naturally help help against those matchups too if I was put in like a bad game state for some reason. I probably wouldn't play more than 2 though, because there aren't that many Mastemons running around, and like I said, you like don't need this card versus hybrid. It's just basically win more versus that deck. But having a big board and then also playing this on the field against hybrid, it's like super GG. Yeah, I would definitely put 2 of these in, and then I would cut 2 gladiamon. Not because I didn't like seeing it. I still love this card, but I needed to put more kill buttons in my deck than I originally thought. And this is more for the Imperial matchup, because if I get early pressure on them, a lot of times if they pop off, they can like get rid of my whole board, or if they like Megadeth my LordKnightmon or something while answering like 1 or 2 of my bodies. I need the ability to kill them, and I need to add more cards that let me do that. So I cut gladiamon because he's, I would probably say, the most cuttable champion. I would say pitomon, but I don't want to cut him because the 1 to Digivolve is just too good for, it's too valuable for me to want to cut. So gladiamon is the most expendable champion. So I would cut gladiamon by 2, and then I would play 2 Zephyrmon. Why am I playing 2 Zephyr and not 2 Kazemon? I'll tell you. So it's a 6 play cost, 6000 DP champion, and it Digivolves on top of a Tamer for 2. And then when Digivolving, if there's a hybrid underneath it or a Zoe, you get plus 3000 DP to your security Digimon until the end of your opponent's next turn. Probably not going to happen unless you stack one on top of the other, because we're not playing Zoes. But I'm playing it because, well, the reason why you would question it is because it Digivolves for 3 on top of a rookie, which if you were playing Kazemon, it would Digivolve for 2. So I would play this over the Kazemon because 6000 DP might end up coming up, but there are several other reasons. Another one is because of the Digivolve cost, it would actually de-incentivize me from using this, or like quote wasting it early. And so like it would like kind of force me to hold it for like when I could kill my opponent with it. But also you can, like, if you have a Pito on the field and you want to swing with it, but you're going to lose 2 memory, you can Digivolve this on top of your Pito, and then swing, and that only costs you 1 memory. Whereas if you Digivolve into any of our ultimates, even the cheap ones, cost 2, and then swing with Pito obviously costs 2. Also, it gives you the ability to dig randomly. So like you can Digivolve this on top of something that's already on the field, like a Gladiamon or something, and pay 1 to dig more cards, dig deeper into your deck for stuff. So it just gives you a little more utility, and also like basically forces you to hold it so you don't like use it early just to go into a stack. But you can do that, it just costs 1 extra memory. So that is why I chose that over Kazemon. And then we would cut 1 Blinding Ray, and we would cut our lucimon. These basically are, I wouldn't call them bricks, but they require other things to be in your hand to go off. Honestly, I would still want to play 3 Blinding Ray. Lucimon is whatever, I don't care about cutting that card, but I would still want to keep 3 Blinding Ray in the list if I could fit it, but I really can't find anything else to cut to fit the 3rd Blinding Ray. So like Blinding Ray has to go, or 1 Blinding Ray has to go, and then Lucimon gets cut. I really don't care about that card. Even when you play it, it's still not even that good. Like, cool, I recovered, but then I just have a 10k vanilla beater on my on my field. I would cut them for 2 Spiral Masquerades. So I actually underestimated the amount of times I would actually have a board against Imperial, because the reason why I didn't originally put this in the deck is because I just assumed that I would basically never have a field versus Imperial because of how broken Pyodramon and Fighter Mode are. But I was actually really wrong about that. There are a lot of times where you have a board, and if you have this insecurity or in your hand, you can just like punish their field or whatever. So I would definitely fit 2 of these in the list by cutting those 2 cards. For those of you that don't know, this is a 4 play cost option. Main, for each Digimon you have in play, activate the effect below. Securities, activate the main effect as well. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. So for those of you that don't know, that didn't play in BT5 format, this doesn't have to be on the same Digimon. So like you can neg 3k across your opponent's entire field for as many guys you have in play. So with LordKnightmon being able to spam bodies, obviously this gets kind of silly along with the Knightmon and Starmon's negging DP. Like you can clear an entire board just with like basically one LordKnightmon swing. If you started your turn at 3 memory, you can also play like a Starmon's and then Spiral. So I would definitely fit two of these in here. I think this actually would have helped my Imperial matchup quite a bit, which is really ironic because the reason why I didn't want to put it in is because I felt like it was really bad against what I thought was my worst matchup, which I was right. It definitely was my worst matchup. But it actually, I think, would have been really good against Imperial. So joke's on me there. But I definitely would put 2 in there. And then last but not least, we would cut 1 Super Starmons. Not because I saw Ultimates too much, but it was the most expendable of the cards remaining on the list. It didn't throw off my ratios like super crazy. We would cut 1 Ultimate to fit in 1 Kentorosmon. For those of you that don't know, I actually played this card in BT5 as a one-of from one of my someone that actually commented on one of my deck profiles with LordKnightmon reminded me that this guy is a Holy Warrior, so he's searchable from coramon and gladiamon, and I actually used him to I used him as a one-of in my store championship winning LordKnightmon deck, and he actually won me or kept me from losing, I would say, like 2 games in that tournament. And that's definitely mattered. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why I won that store championship is because I had this guy in here. For those of you who don't know, which I would definitely understand if none of you know what this card does, the play cost is 12 to 11,000 DP. He digivolves for 3, which is cool. Then when digivolving, up to 5 of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -2 until the end of your opponent's next turn. Pretty good because it's better than recovery because you can just digivolve into this. And then you can just basically keep an entire field. Like if your opponent swarmed on you, just be like, all right, yeah, no. I don't care if I have 0 security, you can't kill me, LOL. And then it gets better, but wait, there's more. His other effect is on deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 11,000 DP for the turn. So if they run over this, it's probably killing something else. And if you can actually go into this, neg security checks on your opponent's board, and then crash it into something to neg DP on that, or neg DP on something else to kill it. Like, he's a really high utility card, and I actually loved him when I had him in the list, but I honestly just didn't feel like there was enough room in the deck. Like, I didn't, at the time when I built this on Theory, he definitely was in my thoughts because I remember how much I loved him in BT5. But at the time, I didn't think he was valuable enough to cut a card for. But after playing in the Ultimate Cup, I definitely missed having him. He would have been really good in a couple of spots. Probably a lot of spots, honestly. As a searchable mega, a 5th searchable mega that has just a lot of utility. So yeah, those are the changes. It's a 7-card difference from my Ultimate Cup list. Yeah, just adding in these cards, simple changes. Basically, all 5 of these were specifically because they were more for Imperial than anything else, but they also help against all kinds of other matchups. And these were for Mastemon specifically, but they also just like dunk on hybrid decks. So like they're all like really good cards, just high utility. But that is it for the list. If you guys stuck around until the very end, I appreciate it. A lot of people don't like how in-depth I get with my deck profiles, but some people do like them, so yay you if you do like those. We do have a giveaway still going for a box of BT6. If you have not entered that giveaway, it is in the link below, or in the link in the description below. Also, I realize I haven't been posting very much in the past few months. Some of that's workload and things like that, like things outside of YouTube. I mean, when I say workload, I actually am extremely excited for BT9. I remember making the mistake, which I do think it was a mistake at the time, looking ahead when Japan started getting leaks of BT9 and when they actually got the set and just looking at everything and being so unbelievably stoked to get those cards like Ordinmon, Regalemon, Crackmon, Vicious Mode, like all that stupid purple, yellow stuff made me so excited to build decks with that. And it made me really bummed that we weren't going to get them for like 6 to 8 months at the time. But it's finally here. This Friday is BT9 pre-release for those of us in the US. Sorry, Europe and other players that aren't getting theirs exactly on this next Friday. You guys will get them soon, but shout out to Bandai. This is, I think, I want to say 2 consecutive sets without a delay, which is the first time I believe that's ever happened. So they're definitely doing something right. So good on you, Bandai. We definitely appreciate the efforts you were taking to get us our sets on time. Even if it does cause issues like with maybe mistranslated cards and stuff, I think for the long-term health of the game, I think having sets release on time is better than having all of the cards maybe translated correctly or centered correctly. Because that can always be fixed or errated or whatever. Whereas delays in set releases causes a really big issue with like the player base's morale, and a lot of people just start complaining, and just like it just lowers the morale because so many people are just like super butthurt about it. But yeah, you guys will definitely be seeing at least deck profiles from BT9 because I'm very excited to get my hands on those cards. This is the most hyped I've been for a set since I started playing this game a year and a half ago. So yeah, expect to see some deck profiles, bare minimum, from me for this set. But until next time, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content and want to come back for more.